Welcome to Corporals Corner. Today we're talking about some modifications I've made to my harness and what I carry in my kit. So stick around. The first major change that I've done here is I went ahead and I downgraded my web belt. Now my previous two versions, you notice I had a Blackhawk web belt on here. And the main difference between the new Blackhawk belt and the old school is there weren't any of these grommets on here, or eyelets. And what it did for me is it kind of limited what I wanted it to do as far as a harness goes. I could still use my harnesses, either a Y harness, H harness, but what I had to do was actually take this off right here, and I had to use the Blackhawk harness straps because they went around the belt and then they snapped. So I was kind of limited to that. Every time I want to change out a Y harness for an H harness, or I wanted to roll old school with a 1950s Korean War harness, I'd always try and change these out, and it was just a pain in the butt. So I went ahead and went back to the old school web belt. So now I can take out my harness and attach it wherever I want, and I can swap harnesses out. So for me, for right now, this works, and there's nothing wrong with rolling old school. Now for a critical update. On my first video where I showed my harness, I had a Maxpedition 4x10 bottle bag. On the second one, I upgraded to the Pathfinder bottle bag, and that was also a 4x10, but it happened to be a little bit larger, and the pockets were actually bigger in the front here. Now for this video, what I've done is I've swapped out the old school Pathfinder bottle bag with a new generation bottle bag. It's actually a lot larger, and it runs 5 by 11.5. Check this out. The new and improved Pathfinder water bottle bag is made by the Self-Reliance Outfitters. It will accommodate a bottle up to 64 ounces. It measures 11.5 inches in length, 5 inches in diameter. It has a front zippered pouch that measures 8 inches in length and 5.25 inches in width, a padded shoulder strap, embroidered Pathfinder logo, a drain hole, MOLLE straps, and retails for $24.95. You can see the difference here between the new and improved bottle bag versus the old one. Here's a tuna can for reference. So you can see it's much larger, and because it's larger, it will now accommodate a 10-piece kit and then some. Now I showed you a change, and we talked about a critical update. So what I want to do right now is get into what I carry for my everyday kit. But before I do that, I want to answer a question. There's a question going around, and I've been asked this several times. And it's, do I believe that my kit should change for every single zip code that I go to, every single part of the country, and ultimately every part of the world? Now, my honest opinion, to even answer that, it's a double-edged sword or a slippery slope, because, like, well, he said yes or he said no. Well, here's my methodology. Now, I'm a former Marine, and that's kind of doesn't really matter. Pick any branch of the service: Army, Marine Corps, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard. Those of you that are active, reserve, or former military know that whenever you go to the field to train or get deployed, 9.5 times out of 10, you have a gear list that's given to you. And you're going to have a JOB, or junk on the bunk, showing those items, and then you're going to pack those items. And again, most of the time those core items are the same. You're going to bring extra camis, extra socks, some type of hygiene gear. You're bringing a weapon, you're bringing ammo, you're bringing a compass, you're bringing a map, or GPS, or all of them, protractor. You know, you're going to bring those core items with you everywhere you go. Flashlight, cordage, a pack, some type of containers or bladders. Those will never change. What changes is where you're being deployed to. So I might bring a heavy-duty sleep system, or I might bring a poncho liner. I might bring a wool blanket. those are comfort items. Those are additional items. But the main core of the pack stays the same. Now, with that being said, I follow the 10 C's of survivability. For those of you that don't know, go back and look at some of my videos and you'll see that playing out throughout my videos. There's a common theme throughout most of them. Now, just like the military, the 10 C's are core items that should be a part of every single kit. And all you need to do at that point is add to it, just like the military. If I'm going to go to the Sonoran Desert, I might not want a wool blanket or a sleep system or even a poncho or poncho liner. If I'm going to go train around Mount Whitney area in California and it's snowing, might want to bring a sleep system. But my core items are exactly the same. And they always should be. You just add to them for where you're going to go or what type of training you're going to be involved in. So again, with that said, let's check out the core items in my kit. What you see right here is an example of my minimum carry, or 10 C's of survivability. We have cutting tool, we have combustion device, cordage, 5x7 cover, containers, nesting cup, candle or candling device, compass with ranger or pacing beads, cotton bandanas, I have 3 of them, cargo tape, 2 1-inch rolls, and 2 canvas needles. What we have right here are the first 5 C's. Containers, cutting tool, combustion device, cordage, and a cover. Now for the containers. What can I do with those? Collect water, carry water, disinfect water, cook, make char cloth, char material, etc. Cutting tools, process firewood, process game, process tinder, make shelters, make tools. Combustion device, got a lighter, guarantees to be flame. Ferro rod, guarantees me spark. Either one combined with mini infernos, now I've guaranteed fire, or surefire. Cover, minimum 5x7 tarp. Cordage, number 36 bank line. Do any number of things with that, from shelters to snares, tools, etc. Let's talk about our last 5 C's. We have a candle or candling device. We have a compass with ranger beads or pacing beads. We have 100% cotton bandanas, cargo tape, and canvas needles. Now the candling device happens to be a waterproof headlamp. It allows me to be hands-free. I can see in the dark. I can signal at night. Compass. This is a Sunto MC2. It's got degrees on the bezel ring right here. We have a magnifying glass for fire starting. I can get general direction. It's got a mirror for daytime signaling. At very least, I can use a compass to avoid lateral drift. And lateral drift happens to be when the dominant side of your body takes over. For example, if you're left-handed, you'll veer to your left. If you're right-handed, you'll veer to your right. Pacing beads or ranger beads, used in conjunction with your compass, you get an accurate distance traveled. Now your 100% cotton bandanas. I carry 3 of these. 1 for my head and 2 in my pack. Now, what I try to do with these is I wash them before I go out. I keep them inside of a Ziploc bag. They're not sterile, but they're clean. And I do that in case I get cuts or some type of wound. What I can do is I can improvise a bandage in the field. And the last thing I want to do is take some dirty bandana full of dirt and sweat and grime and place it onto a fresh cut and introduce bacteria into that wound. So I try and keep these clean and store it inside of a Ziploc bag. It also keeps them dry. Now for our cargo tape. Gorilla brand, 2 1-inch rolls. It's in my carabiner, and it usually hangs out the back of my Blackhawk butt pack. Hundreds of uses for this. fire starting, make cordage, repair gear, self-aid, only to name a few. And lastly, the infamous canvas needles. Improvise a compass, repair gear, repair clothes, make gear, make tools, and the list goes on and on. It weighs nothing, so why not carry it? This next set of gear is an example of extras or comfort items, redundancies to items that I already have. Leather gloves with a Ziploc bag. Common sense, I want to keep these dry, so I use the bag. A Baco Laplander saw. Do I need this? No, but it's good to have. It's a redundancy, it's an additional cutting tool. Utensils. For my cooking kit, I have my containers with nesting cup. Now I have utensils so I can eat my food. Dry goods or an MRE, or both. Comfort items. Now for my last two items. These items are highly controversial at best, however they're redundancies to items that I already carry. For example, the road flare. I can strike it and I can light fires all day, just like I would with my lighter or ferro rod. I can also use it to signal during the day, like I would with my mirror. I can use it to signal at night, just like I would with my headlamp. This is also reusable. It's a reusable resource. Tincture of iodine 2%. Brand's not important. What's important is I can use this to chemically treat water, just like I would use my canteen cup or my bottle to boil the water to disinfect it. I can disinfect it through chemicals. I can also use it to topically treat wounds and prevent infections. Welcome back, that was good to go. Let's reiterate a few things. The 10 C's can be added to any kit. They should be the core of every kit, and they shall be carried as a minimum kit. Now with that mentality, I have a question or questions for those who tend to want to carry less. Would you risk your life, the life of a loved one or loved ones, simply because you chose to deliberately limit your already limited gear? And are you that good? I'm not that good. And I want to take full advantage of every opportunity and situation and be able to think outside the box to come home. Thanks for your comments, views, support. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.